Trump's drone stocks will help you retire early. This is not financial advice, but this drone stock, Ondas Holdings, ticker symbol ONDS, has a board member who, rumor has it, allegedly, may be in the running to be ambassador to the Netherlands, which of course is an appointee of the Trump administration. Trump, I'm sure, will sign something that makes that happen if it happens. Trump did sign an executive order allowing, in June, beyond line of sight drones to operate through the Federal Aviation Administration. Ondas already had some certifications through the FAA, and for that reason, they were allowed to operate beyond line of sight drones. So this company has 10 million of revenue. It's not a lot of revenue, but it's up 500% year over year. Not bad. They are losing money. They do have one customer making up 90% of their revenue. They are selling drones to some Israel businesses. The company is headed in the upwards direction right now. We'll look at the chart, but the earnings reaction is certainly choppy. Sort of looks like a rack of ribs. We'll look at in a second, but definitely higher than before earnings. And if you're not here for this volatility, you're not a 10 million revenue company speculator, have no fear. We'll also talk about a company called Woodward, which had $1 billion of revenue and just had earnings a couple days ago. So another aerospace and defense name that is more stable. This is not financial advice. I hope it helps. If you are joining us before Cyber Monday, take advantage of that $19 Cyber Monday deal at stockscommunity.com.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
Okay, so here's the deal. ONDS received FAA certification. They meet the standards. They got the waivers for beyond visual line of sight. They're pretty much as green lighted as a drone company can go. Of course, if you can't do beyond visual line of sight, you're really limiting yourself in terms of warfare applications, which, as mentioned, I mean, this company is in the broadly electric vertical takeoff aircraft. So that's Joby Aviation, that's Archer Aviation. Those companies are sort of in the same bucket. Here's Ondas. Here's that choppy sort of baby back ribs type pattern it's been doing recently after earnings. It's up significantly from that earnings price. It just took some time to get there. And during that time, the market really contributed to that look on the Ondas chart. So all things considered, this is a solid earnings reaction given what the market's done during that time. Small caps are up, so that helps Ondas as well. There was some data coming out that I guess was weak. PCE, I'm not Mr. Macro, but rest assured someone else can make up stuff about how that affects the market. What we can say loosely is that it sounded like there was a Fed statement where rate cuts are more likely to happen in December, which helps small caps. And you see that in the IWM, you see that in RTY, and that should help Ondas as well. Now, there are some other drone companies as well, UMAC and ARCAT, but these companies have just not really shown any signs of life since that early October sell-off, which marked pretty much the beginning of the end for all the speculation names. Rare earth, quantum, you name it, they pretty much all went down. So Ondas is showing some signs of life here. That revenue beat is significant. Still a loss, as we can see, but all in all, it's pretty positive in a market that is, Palantir had great earnings, sells off. NVIDIA had great earnings, sells off. So it's nice to see some positivity for sure. They did beat earnings estimates. Okay. This is actually Woodward. What the heck am I talking about? Ondas is down here. They were in wireless. Okay. So if we look at the actual company, this is the most recent money they raised, 400 million at 11.50. So that's right here. So 11.50 is a pretty high price compared to where it's trading now, but they raised the money. So if anything, it makes it slightly less likely they're going to sell a bunch of shares into the market at the market here, which can depress the share price, right? Add a bunch of supply into the market. So what we have to say is, what are we going to do here? Well, it's a 3 billion company. Again, wireless was the backbone that moved into drones. They don't really need a bunch of cash, which is great, but they still have the ability to offer, even though the risk is not super high. So what that means is they have this shelf registered where they can raise $30 million, so they can sell shares into the open market at any time. So what are we going to do? We're going to be aware of that, but not too worried, okay, given that they had this solid earnings and they have some cash, 400 million. So that's helpful. Here's the guidance for Ondas. This is what we want, not Woodward yet. 30 million increased, and they set a preliminary target of 100 million. So tripling again from 5xing this quarter, year over year, to 100 million next year, tripling year over year, full year revenue guidance. Pretty crazy. We'll see what happens. This is a little worrisome always. Stock compensation is great. You know, everyone's stoked about Elon's pay package because Tesla's a company generating billions of dollars of revenue. When it's a little company, you kind of worry, are these guys going to run for the door? So you have to be a little careful with that. This is, I also mentioned, 90% of the revenue came from one customer. The connection to Israel business, it's not surprising given the drones. And so, yeah, I mean, no comment on that. It's not like the most non-controversial revenue source, you could say. So we'll see what happens. But all this really is a short-term bet, as always, on solid earnings. I mean, this is no joke, 500% year-over-year revenue increase. And they have cash, they raise guidance. They're in drones. They have this connection, which is a rumor, but reported appointed ambassador to the Netherlands. And then they also have this, obviously this was months ago, but they did have this FAA order that it's called Unleashing American Drone Dominance. And essentially it allowed beyond visual line of sight, which is great for all these companies, not just Ondas. However, again, as we looked at these other companies, AVAV and KTOS, we'll look at KTOS in a second. This is more of a defense aerospace company. But the drone companies are UMAC and ARCAT. So those all benefited from that executive order. But that was a while ago now. I mean, if we zoom out to June, that was sort of the beginning of this run for all of these. UMAC, not so much, but ARCAT, I mean, that's significant before they all sold off 100%. And now zooming out, I mean, this one looks like it still has some juice. It has this higher low. It is a year-long chart, so, I mean, time flies, but it definitely looks the strongest. This is almost back to the levels from, I don't know, early 2025, you could say. And UMAC, same. So, with that said, that's the idea. If you're looking for a company with $1 billion in revenue, and Ondas is definitely not that. Woodward might be a better, stock for your portfolio. $2 per share earnings beat. Pretty solid reaction, as you can say, but also not so far that it's run away. So it looks like 3 days here. It's actually, this is Sunday, this is Monday, and this is Tuesday. So the earnings was after hours on Monday, which meant that at the end of the day today, we finally have a level at about 300. I mean, it's a little below 300 to risk off of. So you can take a position there, and you're looking like, could this become a guardian health where you take a position and, maybe you get stopped out, but maybe you can get back in and look for a move up. This is not small. This is more than 15%. Could it be a GM? Same deal. You never get stopped out. You just have to have the patience to hold for a couple months, really only 1 month. And then you get your, whatever it is, 8%, 10%, something like that. So not all the earnings reactions have been great, of course, but there have been some signs of life. And there are some other companies setting up with recent earnings as well. Keys is one of them as of today. It's just that in general, retail also had a good run. Kohl's had solid earnings that contributed to that. In general, these earnings sales guidance aren't quite as good as Woodward. So that's the reason to talk about Woodward. They also do have the aerospace and defense connection. And those names can run. KTOS is an aerospace and defense name that did run. It's not running right now. But, it's on watch. There is a left side peak that it's sort of held here. But again, that earnings reaction is ugly. So this is a very different setup than Ondas. Ondas is, you could risk as low as the earnings, but you're more likely to risk maybe. It's actually not that different, okay? It's just that this already's built out for a week and a half. So Ondas is more like GM, except you're getting in, here and still risking this level. It's just that it already retested it. So totally different size companies, though. That's the main difference. So just to have a little peace of mind about what this company does. $15 billion manufacturer control solutions for aerospace and industrial markets. And there are some similar companies. KTOS is one of them. Just to look at the size of KTOS, this is so big. Of course, it doesn't have dilution that's really going to affect the price of the stock. They're not going to raise money selling shares in the market. 15 billion. This KTOS is a big company as well. And it's had a huge run, which is why I'm talking about it. It also has a specialization in drones. So it's a little bit of a crossover between these two companies. And looking at Woodward, this is the earnings. So billion is up 15% year over year and above consensus. So pretty solid expansion in operating margin. So that's good. More money as well available, free cash flow. All was pretty much good. I mean, we'll see, except for this is not good. Forward guidance, not quite as good, below expectations. And we'll see what happens with oil and gas, marine transport. This sector, oil and gas and marine transport, has been a couple of sectors that have done extremely well over the past week or so. Now with the broader market bouncing back, those are not quite doing as well. We can look at STNG as an example of basically a shipper company. And then for oil and gas, I mean, you can just look at ExxonMobil, sold off a little, but they really just follow the price of crude oil for the most part. A little bit of sell-off over the last week. So for that reason, I think the best ideas are clearly not in energy right now. You can look at the energy ETF. It's not doing great. Whereas a lot of other ETFs are doing great. And there isn't a drone ETF that really comes to mind. But companies that had recent earnings that are strong are definitely the play right now as we sort of round out earnings season. We could have a reaction like NVIDIA, but NVIDIA was a little bit of a special case. I think who knows exactly why NVIDIA sold off, but Palantir sold off as well. So this is probably a little more sheltered from people who are just broadly playing NVIDIA and Palantir as basically macro bets versus bets on this actual company. So seems like they're in good shape. And again, they have that connection to drones a little bit through how similar they are to KTOS. They're not as big as the Northrop, the massive companies. They actually do move a little bit, about 4%, which is enough to make a dent. You know, if we look at a 5-year chart, this company has definitely moved. Specifically this year, it's almost up 70%. So it's no joke, even though it's $1 billion in revenue, it's a massive company. So those are the two ideas, Ondas and Woodward, ONDS, WWD. If you like getting these ideas, hit that like button. If you want a free course on how to buy stocks before they go up, hit that subscribe. And if you want help and a Cyber Monday $19 deal, head over to stockscommunity.com.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.